This one is made with extract.
Extract? Oh my God.
Okay, we're gonna start getting interesting, kids.
Welcome to Politicians in Pain, the show that's a blatant ripoff of Hot Ones. Welcome to Politicians in Pain, the show where we put your local elected officials' public speaking skills to the test in a hot sauce crucible. Today's guest is Susan Spuhler, the Town Moderator of Westford, Massachusetts. You can find Susan leading town meetings from her podium or attending selectmen meetings to help manage the town's affairs. But how would you like your constituents to get in contact with you if they need to?
They can email me at sspooler@westfordma.gov.
So Susan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Before we start, how are you with spicy food?
I find them interesting, and I'm excited to do this little adventure with you. But first, I'd like to make some Rada.
Yes, what is Rada?
Rada is yogurt and cilantro and cucumbers, and you'll find it at Indian restaurants, and it's a little sauce that you'll have if things get too hot for you to eat.
So you must cook at home because you cut that pretty cleanly.
I do cook at home. Never trust a skinny chef, right?
Here, here.
All right, so that's the cucumber, and then this is cilantro. I like cilantro. Yogurt, plain yogurt. Mix up, and it just looks lovely like this.
So, if you are all ready to go,
I'm ready to go.
Humble House Ancho and Marita.
Okay. Smells not too bad.
It's not bad. I'll actually eat this one. I made the whole thing.
Town Moderator specifically is kind of more New England thing. We're a town meeting society. We don't have city councils or anything like that.
Right. We don't have a mayor either.
Town Moderator basically leads town meetings. She's the head of the legislative branch of our local government.
That's correct. Did you know that there are 78 committees here in Westford?
That's a lot of committees.
It is. And
That's important, being town moderator, to attend a lot of meetings, to understand what's going on, and then what the articles are all about, because sometimes in the beginning of the process, an article is put together, and then by the time you get to town meeting, it's changed a great deal. And so just to understand the progression, because then sometimes people will know, or be at town meeting and know what happened at the beginning of the article, or when it was first created, as opposed to when we were at town meeting. So.
In order to get elected to that position, you have to be a resident of town, correct? Mm-hmm. So how long have you lived in Westford, and what made you move to town?
Well, my husband drew me to town. My husband, Tom Spuhler. I met him in 1999, and we got married in 2001. And we've always, and then ever since we got married, I have lived in Westford.
So when people stand up in Westford and say, I've been here for 40 years, you better listen to me.
I've never experienced that before. I grew up in Leominster, and I don't ever recall anyone saying that they lived there so many years. I just thought, okay, well, that's nice. I'm glad that you've been here a long time.
Bronx Green Market sauce. This one is grown in community gardens in the Bronx.
nice. Has a nice smell to it. I like green sauces. They're not as severe as some of the red ones.
Okay, that's gonna let that. Woo. Okay.
Yeah. What does it take to run for office?
Nomination papers. You have to get 50 signatures, and you have to make sure that those 50 signatures are that they're registered voters. I collected over 100 signatures just to make sure in case, because there were a few signatures I just couldn't even read them. And when I was running into that later on, I just made sure I said, what's your real name? And I would write it down someplace else so I could look them up.
So you can't get Snoopy putting you into the voter roll.
No. And then during my campaign, I gave out pens with my name on them and combs and letter openers. And I'm being a sales executive. I'm used to going to trade shows and giving something out to some things that are useful that people can use.
Pirate's Lantern, a nice mustardy pepper sauce.
I like mustard. That's nice. That's a nice smell to it. Interesting. I dig into these cucumbers.
What is the most challenging part of being the town moderator? And conversely, what would you say is the most rewarding part about being town moderator?
One of the most rewarding parts of it is, meeting people. And then if I have time, I always try to greet people as they're coming to town meeting. I always try to make sure everything is all set up ahead of time. One of the things that I've done, I was asking people, why didn't you come to town meeting? And they said, I can't see well, or I can't hear well. So what I did was I brought volunteers from the senior center. We went into the auditorium at the Abbott School. We stood underneath the back basketball hoop. And then I had Mike Wells put the different fonts up. So it said 8 font, 10 font, 12 font, 20, 28 font. But to the volunteers, I said, which font can you read the easiest? So and I believe that was to 20 font. And then I asked the departments when they're doing presentations to have no less than a 20 font and to use sans serif, to use Calibri. Actually, my husband Tom did a survey, and that and seniors and a lot of people have a harder time reading the ones with serifs. And then we also have headsets for the seniors, and then those are attached to the sound system for town meeting. So that way they can wear the headset, and they're also compatible with people's hearing aids.
Excellent.
We have about 6 of them right now, and we're looking to get more because people are starting to use them.
Queen Majesty, Scotch Bonnet, and Ginger.
Oh boy, Scotch Bonnet. Whew, whew. It's a nice scent to it.
The ginger's a nice little touch.
I like ginger.
Okay.
Feeling that heat?
It's starting to like invade my mouth.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
I understand from some of our previous conversations that you have actually a hot sauce collection at home.
I do. So,
What got you into collecting hot sauce bottles, and what makes for a great collectible hot sauce?
well, it's Tom's collection, and whenever he traveled for work, he'd pick up a bottle here and there, and then when I traveled, I would pick them up because they had funky names, or they'd have like a Santa hat or a cowboy hat, and all sorts of different little things like the bullet that's on here, and they'll have like little cute things, and I would always buy 2, because then that way we'd have one on display and then try one out, and sometimes the more interesting the packaging, sometimes they didn't, the flavor didn't match the cuteness of the marketing on the bottle. So,
Dirty Dick's Hot Pepper Sauce. It's an
Okay.
aggressive brand name.
it's a nice, almost a sweet flavor scent to it. Oh, with a tropical twist. I wonder what's in this. Is pineapple or something? Okay, it's starting to sneak up on me.
Mangoes, pineapple, bananas.
And it's made in a tropical place,
Very Caribbean sauce.
Vermont.
Okay, so now this has invaded my entire tongue.
Feeling the burn, huh? You are a kind of a collector of interesting hobbies. Aside from your hot sauce collection, you actually have a vanity plate that says Dowser, and you are into dowsing.
Yes.
Can you tell us what dowsing is?
Dowsing is an old art form. It's hundreds of years old. Most people's grandparents were dowsers, or great-grandparents. They would originally use a Y-shaped stick, and they would ask where the best place would be to drill a well. And so they'd walk along, and then the rod and then the stick would then dip right down and tell them where to dig for a well.
So how does that work? Because that sounds like magic.
Well, now it's traveling to the back of my tongue. So we're made of mostly water ourselves. Supposedly we have 12 sets of receptors in our body that are able to detect this.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
you have a gut feeling about things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the hair will stand up in your arms or the back of your neck.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of your intuition. It's part of your gut feeling. And it's part of, our senses and what, fight or flight and saves your life. And so with dowsing, it's just kind of a sense of where water is.
Maybe it helped our caveman ancestors find their next
prey.
drink.
Exactly. And so I've been doing it since 1991. I learned at Stonehenge.
Stonehenge, wow, that's a place to learn it.
There were people that were on a bus tour, and I was there on vacation, and they had L rods, and then when they would walk between the circle of stones and the heel stone, their rod would walk along, the rod would spin like helicopter blades. And I was working at MIT Lincoln Laboratory at the time, doing aluminum gallium arsenide, semiconductor, laser array diode research, hardcore engineering, and I came home, and I spoke to my colleagues about that, and they said, oh, go talk to Harold Anderson. And then Harold Anderson taught me that was dowsing. Okay, so then we're at this one here.
This next one is our first Hot Ones inspired sauce. This show is, as I mentioned, a blatant ripoff of Hot Ones. And this sauce next up is Los Calientes. Muy delicioso.
Okay. Muy delicioso. I like to smell these things first. When you're a chemist, you waft the odor to your nose, because otherwise you don't want to sniff right in because it can burn your mucous membrane. So I'm always very careful with, especially this stuff. It is tasty.
It has a very nice sweetness to it.
Yeah. I like sweet stuff. It's like starting to go like along the side of my tongue.
You're handling it pretty well so far. This is around the time when guests on Hot Ones, this is where you find out who can handle their hot sauce. You seem to be doing pretty well so far.
Thank you. I'm enjoying this. No tears yet.
Not regretting your commitment.
I like this one.
What, in your opinion, is the best and then the worst thing about Westford?
Oh, I'm so sad that Papagino's and D'Angelo's have left town.
That happened just like
That just
overnight,
happened
all
like,
of a sudden.
All of a sudden, I heard that. I saw it on Facebook. Some friends of mine I have a lot of friends that are reporters, and they were reporting on that. And it's like, oh my God! So I started looking on the website on my phone, and it's like, I can't find my Westford one. Oh my gosh! And then it was later in the day that I heard about the D'Angelo's being closed down. Because I like to eat at both of those places. It's like,
I had just decided that I liked D'Angelo's better than Panera like 2 weeks before that.
And what do I love best about Westford? There's so many things that I love the farmer's market.
Loved.
Please come back. Please come back. Just all the people I've gotten to meet and become friends with over time, and the TV station and everything. It's a wonderful, welcoming community, and that's what I really appreciate about it. And I find people to be kind and very intelligent and welcoming, and are very xenodocial.
Bravado Spice Company, Black Garlic, and Carolina Reaper.
I'm smelling the garlic. My nose can handle it.
Cheers.
Cheers. This one is at the back of my tongue. Oh my. Okay.
It's starting to get hot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in continuing with this theme of your interesting hobbies and interests,
Okay.
do you believe that intelligent life exists somewhere other than Earth?
We have to be very narrow-minded to think that we're the only form of intelligent life in the universe. And who's to say that we're intelligent? We could just be some giant experiment or a big ant farm or something to some other something out there. I have to, with a broad mind, look at it. Look how many hundreds of millions of galaxies that are out there. That there's probably somebody, some other life form out there that's that's viable.
You've been through quite a bit of UFO files. You had your own show that was all about
that's right,
UFOs,
exactly.
and you run a UFO conference each year.
Yeah.
So you've seen quite a bit of the evidence. So have any of them contacted us?
Well, that's a good question. There are people that say yes. I don't have my own empirical data that states that that's actually happened. I've never seen anything of any significance that I would consider to be a sighting. And some of the stories are interesting. I'm so busy running the conference, I don't really get to sit down and listen to a lot of the speakers unless I go to other events and attend them. And so I just try to always make a wonderful conference experience for the speakers and for all the attendees, and keep it as a reasonable price. And the mayor of Leominster is, we have it at Leominster City Hall. The mayor has always been very welcoming to us.
Does he believe?
Yeah, yes, he does. It's fun.
All right.
It's fun.
This one is Da Bomb.
Da Bomb.
Beyond Insanity.
What's in this one?
So this one, the ingredients are habanero peppers,
Okay.
chipotle puree, water, orange juice concentrate, natural pepper flavoring,
Okay.
and what I happen to know from my own research. This one is made with extract.
Extract. Oh my God.
I just barely even put that. Okay, we're trying to start getting interesting, kids. And this one's on the tip of my tongue. This one's attacking the tip. I'll call it attacking the tip of my tongue. Yeah, it's kind of like a needle is being stuck in the tip of my tongue. I can't pull it out. It's still there. I'm a good sport.
Can you name one Massachusetts politician that you think is doing a great job, and one that you would like to see lose their next election?
I think that the governor has been doing a good job. And the mayor of Boston has been doing a good job. I think to me it's important when politicians are accepting of others and trying to help those that are less fortunate, that don't always have all of the opportunities that some of us have. And so I appreciate that, like Mayor Marty Walsh, that he allows the gay parade to happen in Boston, and doesn't pay much attention to what anybody else has to say about that. And as for you're talking about Massachusetts politicians.
Mm-hmm.
As for Massachusetts politicians, I haven't seen it. I can't think of any offhand that I feel are doing a bad job per se. I'm ready for Mad Dog 357 with number 9 plutonium. Is that what that says?
That is what that says.
Oh my gosh. How do you put plutonium in? Ingredients: Reaper, scorpion, and ghost peppers. I thought it was going to be scorpion the ingredient. I was going to put scorpion in this.
Oh no, you wouldn't get me to eat scorpion.
Well, this is made, distributed right here in Sudbury, Massachusetts. That's pretty cool.
Okay, I'm gonna
Let's dig it in.
dig in. Ooh. Oh, it's yucky. Oh my. Sour. And it's hard. Oh, this one's burning the back of my tongue. Ugh, yuck. This doesn't taste good. It's just this is burning the tip of my tongue. It hurt. My lips are starting to burn too.
Have you held any other elected positions, and are there any that you would maybe like to hold at some point in the future?
No, I like what I'm doing now for town moderator. Years ago, I had always thought about wanting to run for Congress, but you never know. There's always, you never know what kind of opportunities will present themselves. But I'm going to enjoy my moderator.
Excellent. And the moderator is the first position you've held?
Yes, it is.
The last one is called the last dab. There is a tradition associated. This is a long-standing Hot Ones tradition. The tradition is to put a little dab of extra on the last wing. You don't have to.
That's nice.
If you don't want to.
My tongue's still on fire. Funny smelled wet. The hottest thoughts. No, I'm guessing. Stuttering, fire-breathing lunatics just got even crazier. Okay. All right. Well, I'll put some on. I won't promise it'll go in my mouth, but
that's pretty generous.
I mean, I don't know if it's gonna go in my mouth, but I'll try this. But it's a nice, it does have a nice smell.
Cheers.
Cheers. Here we go. It's like creeping back.
I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna try to stop it.
Okay. I like this one better than the other one. I'm enjoying my ice cream. My lips are on fire.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you could add one bylaw to Westford's books and remove one bylaw existing on Westford's books,
Oh boy.
what would you change?
I would, for special town meeting, we need 200 people for
It's that quorum.
the quorum. I would consider lowering that number from 200 to something lower. Unchanged. Okay, so then,
What if you could add anything to the bylaws? What
add
would it be?
anything. So I'm trying to think of well, we have plenty of open space, and I hope I would like for us to have even more open space. And I like that you have to basically have a minimum of an acre.
And maybe we can change it to 2 acres like Carlisle does, so people have plenty of room.
So congratulations, Susan. You have
Thank you.
conquered the crucible, tamed the flames within, and emerged victorious from the hot sauce volcano.
And I didn't cry.
Now, all that remains for you is to pick a camera, this one, or this one,
Okay.
and address your constituents directly. What do you want the people to know?
I'm tough, and this just proves it. We just had special town meeting on October 15th, and we won't be having another town meeting until next spring, one Saturday in March. So unless something else comes up, or we have another special town meeting. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. My tongue is starting to get back to normal, so.
Thanks for watching. Big thanks to Nick in the control room and Leeway behind the camera. Of course, huge props to Sean Evans, Chris Schoenberger, and everyone at First We Feast for inspiring this show with their fantastic series Hot Ones, which you can find on YouTube. If you want to acquire your own hot sauces and follow along with the next episode, most of these hot sauces are available at heatonist.com. The rest are available on Amazon. Politicians in Pain is produced at WestfordCAT by a combination of volunteers and station staff. We'll see you next time on Politicians in Pain.